Hi, my name is Kevin, and my group members are Joseph, Zhao, KHALED, and Junjie. We will be negotiating to rank at least the first 5 cities of our internship programs for 3 months under Go Global. We will be getting a monthly salary of 2,000 Malaysian ringgit and free hostel rooms. From the overall ranking, we can see that Tokyo has the highest total points. So from my personal ranking, I put Tokyo as the highest because Tokyo has, according to TripAdvisor, a famous tourism website, it says that Tokyo is home to a lot of international professionals, expats, and travelers from around the world, making it a diverse workforce for internships. So we will be able to gain a lot of experience from other workers. Also, Japan has very efficient transportation, making it easy for us to get around town and to get to our workplace. What do you think about this, Zhao? And so you also have Tokyo as the highest rank.
Yeah, absolutely. I strongly agree with you that Tokyo will be the most suitable place for us to pursue our internship because I admire Japanese hardworking spirit very much, and I also love their unique culture, especially the anime that is one of my favorite, and also um, I also plan to travel around the Japan to see more of their culture. So, what do you think, Junji? Do you agree with my opinion?
Okay. I am partially agreeing with because following about the cultural difference. If you work in Japan, then you will be a gaijin, which is a Japanese word for the foreigners or non-Japanese citizen in Japan. So it will take time. We will need to take time for us to digest their lifestyle, their working culture, and also understanding their ethical value of daily life. So, how about another opinion?
For me, I partially agree with Kevin and Zhao Tian, but I think the cost of living is my big concern. Based on the data from Google, is that the Tokyo got the higher living costs compared to the other countries such as Taiwan and so on. And despite that, the accommodation already provided, right? But I'm afraid that the allowance is not enough for us to live in Tokyo. This is the first one. And the second one is the language and the culture barrier. Because when I do the internship in Tokyo, right, I'm gonna have learn Japanese. I'm gonna have do some preparation to learn that before I going to Japan to do the internship. So, what's your opinion, Khalid?
I also agree with Joseph that the cost of living is relatively high in Tokyo. According to Nambu website, according to 2021 statistics, Japan is the 7th highest country in terms of cost of living, and Tokyo is the capital city and for sure the highest city in terms of costing of living. Also, I see Tokyo is very hard there to adapt, and also there is a big language barrier and cultural barrier also. Japanese there is very hard to speak. That's an opinion, my opinion. What do you think, guys?
All right. Thanks for your points. Contrary to popular belief, English in Tokyo, there's not really there's not much of a language barrier for English in Tokyo because according to TripAdvisor, because these are basically polls from all the tourists, they say that English is widely used by the inhabitants of Tokyo. So I don't think we will have a hard time using English there. And also, you said something about culture. As we can see that there's a lot of travelers or professionals or expats that goes to Japan. So the culture is actually very comfortable and it's very welcoming. So it's quite easy for us to settle in.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. Because as a big city like Tokyo, there are a lot of foreigners went there to work. So English, especially English, it will be the main language for us, for them to communicate, especially in the multinational company. And for the cultural barrier, although Japanese have a unique culture, but they are very welcoming. So you won't feel like you are uh, feeling hard to blend into their community. So I don't think that will cause an issue for our internship.
Also, to add for Joseph's point about high cost of living, we are given about 2,000 Malaysian ringgit as a salary. So that is roughly converted to 53,000 Japanese yen. So since accommodation is provided, we have, and based on the travel websites, the monthly transportation fee is only about 10,000 Japanese yen. So we have roughly 43,000 Japanese yen left to be used monthly for foods and entertainment and so on. So yeah, I think it will not be a problem there.
I see. Right, you made the point. So 2,000 ringgit is totally enough for the living cost, right? All right. So that will be my concern now. And besides, you say about Japanese culture is like very friendly to foreign people, and they also speak English, right? So I think I will consider this point. Thanks, Kevin and Zhao Tian. So how about JJ? Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I am considering it since I put Tokyo as my top 3 to do my internship also lah. So how about Khalid?
Also, me, I agree with these points. I see Tokyo is very friendly. The Japanese people is very friendly, and English. They are English friendly also, and also there is a very good public facilities, and Tokyo is very safe. So I kindly agree with you.
All right. So then we have our first ranking. So moving on to the next one. In the charts, we can see that the total points, Taiwan has the second highest. And looking at the chart rankings, Joseph has Taiwan as his most preferred. Could you explain why, Joseph?
Right, thanks, Kevin. So the reason why I say Taiwan is the most preferred country for me for doing the internship is because I personally focus more on the job prospect, because in Taiwan there are a lot of famous electronic companies such as the TSMC, the Foxconn, Centra, and those companies are the top electronic manufacturing companies in the world. And I know this internship is not provided by those companies though, but since you use this opportunity to go Taiwan to do the internship, in this period, you sure can develop your interpersonal connections. And apart from that, as you have experience for do internship in Taiwan, after graduate, you should have more advantages compared to the others, because when interview, you can say that you have done internship in Taiwan before, and you know a bit their culture and also their working style. And this definitely give you the advantages to get the job offers in Taiwan. So this is what I thought. How about you, Zhao Tian? What is your opinion?
I partially disagree with you because for me personally, Taiwan mostly they use their own language, which is Mandarin, in their working place, also apply for engineer. So for the specific terms, because we all pursue our engineering studies with English, and when we intern at Taiwan, we need to like learn some Mandarin terms. So it might be a huge obstacle for us to intern at there. But I agree with you that Taiwan have the most one of the most advanced electronic companies in the world. So we might learn a lot from them. So what do you think, Khalid?
Thanks for your opinion. I agree with your point, but I have my points also. I am here focusing about the cultural barrier and also the language. You know that Mandarin is one of the hardest language to learn and to speak. So you need a lot of time to learn and speak with the people there. Also, the cultural barrier is very, very big there. Among the cities, Taiwan is the most city you will interface cultural barrier and also language barrier. So I think it's very hard to adapt there. What's your opinion, Jonji?
Yes. Actually, I quite agree with Joseph's point lah, because Taiwan is a fantastic country in order to search for a new jobs lah. Even though we are doing our internship, but after our internship ends, we may want to find a new job in Taiwan as well lah. So for your information, most companies across the industry are owned by the multinational foreigners from the every strata of society lah, and there are plenty of jobs offer for engineers and technicians in Taiwan as well. And Taiwan has a very low unemployment rate of about 3.6% only, and presents job opportunity for everyone regarding of your skill set lah. So I think I will agree with Joseph's point that Taiwan is one of the best place to do the internship lah.
Allow me to add, I also agree with Joseph picking Taiwan as the second most preferred. To add to his points, the low living cost is also relatively quite low compared to the rest. It also has similar transportation like Japan, which is very timely and cheap, and it is also a very safe country. However, how about the language barrier, Joseph? Is it true that there's a huge language barrier there?
From this point, actually, you no need to concern about the language barrier, even though they speak Mandarin. But the local people also learn English in primary school. So in workplace, they also able to speak English, and the specific term they also understand in English. So even though you do know Mandarin, you still can communicate with them. So yeah, it's not a concern.
Okay, so hearing that from Joseph, that I would safely pick Taiwan as my second most preferred.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin that Taiwan will be one of the most suitable place for us to pursue our intern.
For me, also, I agree with you guys that Taiwan is the second place to be chosen after Tokyo, especially that Taiwan require more engineers to work there. So I agree with you. It's a second option for me.
Okay, so since all of us have already agreed that Taiwan should be the second place, so let's move on to the third. So as we can see from the charts, we can see that London and Berlin is sharing the third spot. Okay, so for me personally, I would pick Berlin over London. Berlin is also like Japan. It attracts a lot of expats from around the world, so it makes it a very diverse workplace where we can learn a lot from. Next, it also has efficient transportation similar to Taiwan and Japan, so it is really good. So what do you think about this, Joseph? You also have it as the third rank.
Thanks, Kevin. The reason why I choose Berlin be my third choice for doing the internship because compared to the Taiwan, I concern that in Berlin there's a language barrier and also the cultural barrier, and because when living there, I certainly need to learn German, right? And it's gonna take some time to do the preparations before the internship. But despite I have language barrier in Berlin, I still choose Berlin over London for my internship, and this because German engineering is the best in the world compared to the London, and they are also got a lot of electronic companies on there. So maybe I can like use this opportunity to go to the country and explore it. So after I graduate, I can go there to work or continue study. So how about Junjie? What is your opinion?
Really, as you see from my list, both of this city is not so convenient for me to consider to for doing our internship lah. This is because I'm worrying that about the distance problem. If let's say there's some emergency cases happen in our hometown, which is in Malaysia, we can't go back to our hometown immediately. We need to book the flight ticket to fly back to Malaysia. By the way, if we want to choose a city to do our internship between London and Berlin, I think I will choose London lah. This is because London is the UK's capital city in everywhere lah, and it's also a center for business, and many global firms choose to have office here. Unsurprising, London is therefore where the majority of graduate jobs and internships are located lah. And also many industry will have opportunities to work in London. So meaning that whether your dream career is, you can take your first step towards it here lah. So this is my opinion. So how about Zhao Tian's opinion?
For me, London and Berlin have a quite high ranking in my option, but I personally prefer London. Slightly prefer London because London is one of the most famous city in the world, and I admire their culture, and also I'm very willing to travel all around England, and also I want to watch some live English football. And for the Berlin, as Joseph mentioned about the language barrier. Yeah, for the German, they are very strict on the German language, that we need to at least require some certain level of German speaking and writing skills. So it will be a very challenging task for me. But one of the good side is German has one of the best engineer in the world. So you definitely can learn a lot from them, and also it will be a huge advantage for you to further your engineering career. So what do you think, Khalid?
For me, I strongly stand with Kevin's opinion. I will definitely choose Berlin. And you can see I have already chosen Berlin as my fourth choice. Why? Because I learned that Germany is a place where you can work in engineering. It's a country for engineering. And Berlin especially is one of the best places to do your engineering internship. Why? Because here you can practice German. And German is very, very important. If you learn German there, you can work easily. You can enter multi-international companies. Also, there in Berlin, there's a very good public facilities and transportation. Not to say transportation is free for students as well as public facilities. Also, I need to add that career prospectus for power engineers and also electronic engineers is relatively good there. So that's my opinion. How about you guys?
Okay, to add, about the living cost, Berlin is 5 times lower than London, according to the travel website. In London, since we are only given a 2,000 Malaysian ringgit salary, so if we were to convert it to pounds, we would only have roughly 500, which is really not enough to go by for a month for transportation, for our food daily. The living cost there is extremely high. So yeah, that's why I would choose Berlin over London. What do you guys think for those who chose London?
Yeah, considering the cost living, I think Berlin will be far more better than London, because our ringgit conversion rate to the British pound is very low. So we might have some we might need to be very
Frugal.
yeah. we have to limit our expense in London. So we might meet some financial problem in London, but not in Berlin, since Khalid has a point that even the transportation is free there. Yeah. So so now I agree that Berlin will be better than London.
Yeah, to add on the point, so based on the latest findings by the Numbeo website, the cost of living index of Germany is about 70.62, while the cost of living index in London is about 71.92. So based on this statistic, we can see that there's no big difference between these two countries, but based on the point judges by you guys, I think I will consider Berlin as the place to do the internship.
All right, thank you for that, Junjay. To add to your point, actually, even though there's based from Numbeo, there's only like a small difference, but like Khalid said, he stated that for us students, like us interns, the transportation cost is free. So yeah, that would cut quite a lot from our money usage monthly. Okay, so moving on. So since we have ranked Berlin as the third most preferred, and then London being the fourth, so we move on to the next overall ranking. We see that Dubai and Singapore is sharing the fifth spot. So looking at Dubai and Singapore, we have Khalid having Dubai as his most preferred, and Junjie has Singapore as his most preferred. Could you explain why you choose Dubai as your most preferred, Khalid?
Yeah, sure. Why I choose Dubai? Because Dubai is a very multicultural workforce. So there you can find workforce from every part of the world, with 70% of Dubai residents coming from 180 different nationalities. The Emirates is becoming increasingly multicultural and accepting of each other's beliefs and morals. Also, in Dubai, you will find no cultural barriers because the people there are welcoming international people. And also, the people there definitely speaking English. Also, you can find a very professional training in your internship. Of course, you will find a difference to training in Dubai than any other city. And I need to add also that Dubai is very, very safe and secure. This is because of the strict laws and the hard-working police force. This is my opinion. I need to know your opinion, Joseph.
I personally prefer Singapore over Dubai, even though I really want to use this opportunity to explore to other further country, because Singapore is the nearer countries to more of us, right? But I still will choose Singapore over Dubai because, based on the research, Dubai don't have much electronic companies, and compared to the Singapore. And the second one is Singapore don't have the language and culture barrier for me, even though you say just now the Dubai also able to speak English. But for Singapore, it's just like a Malaysian. And if I go to Dubai for do industry, at least I need to do some homework, for research their culture and also their working style and so on. And that's all for my concern. How about you, JJ? What is your opinion?
Okay. In order to compare between the Singapore and Dubai, I will definitely agree that Singapore is one of the best choice to do the internship, since it is the highest ranking for me. So in order to support my opinion, I would say that Singapore is one of the most stunning architectural creations in the world. So from the imposing colonnade and the esplanade to the traditional Victoria Concert Hall and Old Supreme Court, almost every corner of Singapore's main island promise stunning sights and memorable locales built in a spectrum of styles. So we can definitely relax our mind by walking around in the Singapore city after we have walked for a long time. This can definitely release our stress. And of course, Dubai has a lot of relaxing scenery as well. But considering the cultural difference, Singapore will be better choice for me. And also to add on the point, when the workday is over, we can enjoy some Asia's most exciting cuisine. And from cozy street corner noodle stores to glamorous world-class restaurants, the city boasts mouth-watering dishes and flavors for every palate. And there's a lot of food and drinks choices for me lah. So I will pick Singapore as one of the best place to do the internship by comparing to Dubai. Yes. So how about your opinion, Zhao Tian?
For me, personally, I will slightly prefer Dubai because Singapore is too near to us and the culture is like almost the same like in the Malaysia. And by comparing, because our UTM is in Johor, right? By comparing the conversion rate to Singapore, like I didn't have much cultural explore in Singapore, and I need to spend 3 times more expensive living costs in there. So for me, it's like for me to pursue internship in Singapore is quite not likely to worth it. But for the Dubai, I'm able to look around the Middle Eastern culture, and also Dubai is one of the most beautiful city in the world, and have some magnificent buildings all around. So I will be willing to travel around Dubai.
Okay, to add on to your guys' points from both sides, so from what I see, the urban landscaping is very nice for both cities, both Dubai and Singapore. However, like Joseph has said, for Dubai, it is not focused on electrical engineering, which is our course. And from my research, I found out that Dubai is more well known for their hospitality and tourism internships, because they are like a major spot for tourists and people from around the world. Other than that, Zaltin made a point about the living cost in Singapore is 3 times higher. So, and he said he preferred Dubai. However, Khaled, would you mind telling us what is the living cost in Dubai?
Honestly to say, unfortunately, 2,000 ringgit won't be enough at all in Dubai, because Dubai is, I lived there before and I know it's very, very, very expensive, and you will spend double that amount of money in 1 month only. So sadly, Dubai is very expensive compared to Singapore.
All right, thank you for that. Also, since we will be doing our internship during the summer, so how is the weather there? Are we going to be all right in Dubai?
Also, based on my experience, I lived in Dubai. So Dubai during the summer is very, very hot. You can experience a weather of like 50 Celsius degree during daytime. So it's very hot, and you need to make sure that you are in a conditioned place to live.
Thank you, Khaled. So from what I can evaluate from both sides, I would go to Singapore because it's nearer and there's no cultural barrier, and also the weather is more tolerable during the summer because it's pretty similar to Malaysia. So do you guys have anything else to add?
Yeah, to add on the point, Singapore can be said that it's a home to several technical giants, including Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, and the city tends to adopt new technology at a rate comparable to larger global markets. So since we are in the engineering field, choosing Singapore as a place to do our internship, we can definitely increase a lot of soft skill and hard skills. Yeah, so I strongly agree that Singapore is one of the best country to do the internship by comparing to Dubai.
All right. So Khalid, after hearing all this, what do you think? Do you still stand on Dubai?
I really think that Singapore is better to be chosen than Dubai, based on what we are negotiating right now. So we may choose Singapore as our 4th choice.
You mean 5th?
Yeah, after listening to Khalid points, I realized that the climate in Dubai is very harsh, and as as we pursue our internship in Dubai, we cannot afford the living costs there as well. So and also from points from Junji, Singapore has a lot of good electronic companies that we can work on. So it will be a very good choice for us to get used to the working culture there and learn from a Singaporean. Yeah. So for my rankings, I would prefer Singapore higher than Dubai. So how about you, Joseph?
So based on your guys' opinions, and I very agree, like Junjie, Zhao Tian, Khalid, and Kevin. The living cost is the first one, but seems like the weather of the Dubai is very hot, like Khalid said just now. So I more prefer Singapore because Singapore weather is same with Malaysia, so I already used to it. And besides, like Junjie said just now, got a lot of technology company on there, so it definitely we can learn. We have more job opportunity as an electronic engineer. So yeah, I still stick my ranking. I will choose Singapore over Dubai. Yeah.
All right. So after hearing all that, after all the negotiation, so allow me to summarize our ranking so far. So for the most preferred first place, we have Tokyo, and then followed by Taiwan, and then Berlin, followed by London in fourth place, and then on fifth place is Singapore, and then on the sixth place is Dubai. Does everyone agree with this ranking?
Yes, I agree with this final ranking. After the consideration, I will change my mind. I will put the Tokyo be my first choice to do the internship because Tokyo also got a lot of job opportunity for electronic engineer, and the most important thing is the living cost. Like Kevin said just now, the 2,000 ringgit is pretty enough for survive in Tokyo. And also the Japanese people also can speak English. They're also very friendly to the foreign people. So I no longer concerned about the language and the culture barrier. Yeah, so this is why I agree with the final ranking. How about you, Junji?
Yes, I also agree with Joseph's point lah. And based on the negotiation that we had did just now, I agree with the new overall ranking lah. Actually, actually 5 of these countries are suitable for me lah. Just about the which one is the priority, but based on the negotiation, I strongly agree with the overall ranking. It's good for me, for us also. So how about others' opinion?
Yeah, according to our discussion, because as previously I said, Tokyo is already my most preferable choice, and for Taiwan, after listening to Joseph that the cost of living is low and there's a lot of job opportunities. So Taiwan, yeah, I agree with the ranking that Taiwan should be the second, and followed by Berlin and London, and also Singapore. So all of this based on mostly based on the cost living and also the job opportunities. So by considering these points, yeah, I agree with the final rankings. So how about you, Khalid?
I also see that the overall ranking is better now, so I stand up with Tokyo being the most preferred city. I can bypass the language barrier and I can work on myself to learn Japanese and to experience working with Japanese people who are very welcoming and very polite. Also, same as Taiwan, same as Berlin and Singapore. So I agree with you guys. I hope we can settle on this ranking.
All right, I guess that's it. We have our five most preferred cities to go for our internship under Go Global. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.